Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chessbots. I'm your host Eden, and this is my co-host,
Shane.
also known as Daddy.
Who are we playing today?
We're going to be playing Wilson.
Who's Wilson?
He's a 1200 rated chess.com robot who apparently likes endgames.
How do we know this?
It says that in the bio.
Oh, all right, well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, so what do we open him with?
So, F4. Offbeat opening already from the opening.
Yeah, from the robots don't normally do that.
No, but hey, this is how Wilson rolls, right?
Yeah.
So, I bring my knight out.
Why'd you bring your knight out?
Basic stuff. Control the center, develop a piece,
Yeah.
right? And let's
I just thought maybe you had some brilliant idea.
Oh, no brilliance here. The reason this is kind of strange is that normally when you're between 500 and 1,000, which I'm assuming you are because that's the main audience of this video.
Rating-wise.
Yes.
Chess rating.
Yes.
Which you get. How does somebody know their rating?
Different chess platforms, so chess.com will give you a rating once you start playing games. So there's a couple different ways you can get ratings. Now, normally you want to play something basic, follow the regular chess rules, develop in the center, bring your knights out, knights before bishops, right? All the common main rules, because you don't have as much experience or skill to do something offbeat and still make it work. Wilson doesn't do that here, though. He just goes straight for F4. So now, more weirdness. The reason I don't like this is because he just completely blocked in his knight. This knight, it can't go to its normal square. This
well,
is
not
where,
yet, but
this is where everybody usually puts their
after
knights.
Queen's pawn moves, then
yes.
But look how it's cutting off the black knight. Well,
Sure,
the black
but
knight
the
has
black
nowhere to go.
Well, the black knight didn't want to go anywhere yet. So I pushed
That's a cheap
my
trick.
pawn to.
Right. He's not going to take that. What does he do? He pushes past it.
He
Or
does
right.
this. Weird.
Hmm?
Weird stuff. I mean, you will not see many people, most likely, play stuff like this.
Anything could work.
I know. So I bring my knight out. I'm playing normal chess. I'm controlling the center squares. I'm following chess rules.
I've played normal chess against people who played weird stuff and got wrecked many times. So
yeah?
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to reserve my opinions about this opening.
Well, let's see what Wilson does with this. Let's see if he can convert a weird position into something that will work.
Okay.
Let's just see. All right. So he pushes.
Uh-huh.
Notice something. All of his pawns are on dark squares. Okay. And you know what that means?
What does that mean?
This bishop is the most unhappy piece in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Because it can't move anywhere.
Right.
I mean, even if you push this pawn, it can go one square.
Yeah. But, I got to say, his pawn structure is looking pretty fancy.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
it's not bad.
Go ahead and try to get in there.
I mean, you can't get in, but the problem is he also can't get out. So it's kind of backfiring. All right, so I push. I'm playing normal chess, right? And if he takes here, well, first of all, he wrecks his pawn structure, but then I can take here and then hop into the center at some point with my knight.
Okay.
And that's a really good square because it tricks the king and blah, 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 right? So he brings his knight out, finally doing something normal.
Okay,
right?
You're looking for normal chess.
Normal chess, yeah. And now I push.
Okay.
So I'm just getting that thing out of there
because
because I'm making him waste tempo because now he has to put this knight somewhere. So where does he put it? Well, he puts it here. Now he had a couple different options. He could go into the center here.
Do you take that? I would just take it.
Okay.
Let's see what you do.
I take. And now he takes back. This is kind of interesting. Still very dark square dominant.
Yeah, but he could have plans.
Okay. Well, let's just see. Okay, let's just see. All right, I push.
It's not normal chess.
That's not normal chess.
I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to get this pawn out of the center
and create a big hole.
Create a big hole
in your defense.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, look at your king completely exposed now. I think these pawns are getting a little aggressive for as undeveloped as the back.
All right, well,
the back
calm
rank
down.
is.
Let's see what happens. Okay, calm down.
All right.
He brings his bishop out. Because if he would have come here and checked me...
Bring your bishop up and attack his, right?
He just wastes tempo and he has to go straight back.
I
take.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that was the best idea.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it even was. I think if I would have let him take, it would have been better. Because he takes.
Maybe.
He takes. I bring my bishop up, right? I'm controlling this diagonal. He can't castle to this side, not that he wants to. And I would have gotten an extra piece developed. But since I took, right, now he can take back, which he's gonna do. And now his knight's free. The same reason that I didn't like this g4 push, blocking in his knight. And when you block in the knight, you basically block in all three pieces.
You said, I can't get in, but he can't get out. Well, now he can get.
That's why I don't like this move.
But that's what happens when you start taking pieces off too soon. Look how undeveloped everything is, except it's just a pawn fight. It's a big fat pawn fight.
So he takes back. Who didn't
That's
see that
obvious.
coming?
In fact, I don't even know what the purpose of the take was. What did that do for you? Nothing.
Not really. I bring the queen out.
Again for no reason.
No.
Oh, you're attacking that pawn.
Reason.
Okay.
I'm attacking his pawn.
All right.
What can he do about it? Not really anything.
You've got no strategy. You're just playing moves. You're thinking, oh, look, a pawn.
I want to get this pawn out of the center. I don't like it.
But you're not thinking, like, I can get in here, mate here.
There's not really any tactical strategy.
Okay.
Yes.
You're working for that. Okay.
So he castles.
Oh,
He castles.
Now that's
what were you thinking, Wilson? All right, so
that's the weirdest move I've ever seen.
So
in
let's break
history.
This down.
Okay, why don't you explain that one to everybody?
Yeah, this is such a bad move because this is a very open side of the board. This half of the board, all the pawns have pushed. It's wide open. This bishop at some point, this pawn could maybe push. This bishop could come here, control this diagonal. Then the bishop and the queen would be all in this king's face. Normally, you want to castle your king to a safe side of the board, and that would be this side of the board. Now, even though the queen's there, there's no immediate threat. It's not doing anything there.
But look how there's just everything
That's the point, because this knight can come out. He could have taken a little extra time and gotten this knight out, pushed this pawn, got this bishop out, got his queen out of the way. He could have taken that time, and there wouldn't be any immediate threat with the queen. The obvious thing
here is queen takes pawn check.
Queen takes pawn check, right? And now the king has to move over, stuff itself in the corner.
Or lift the rook up, you know.
That's a bad idea, though.
Yeah,
because this bishop just comes behind and it's pinned. He didn't have to castle there. And certainly he shouldn't have castled to this side.
Yeah, that was
board.
weird.
If he really wanted to castle that bad, he could have taken a little extra time, gotten his pieces developed.
Castling to that side is almost to say free king.
Right.
You know.
I know. It's not a good idea.
It's really weird. So he messed up. We get that.
Right.
But I'm more interested in all the possibilities of the counterplay for black at this point, because the obvious choice is queen takes pawn check.
Yeah.
But then there is so many possibilities. Bringing the knight up, bringing the bishop out, castling on black side.
Yeah, I mean,
what's the follow-up?
Once this queen's here, you could bring this bishop here and then just come in on this diagonal, push this pawn. When the queen's out of the way, you could get this bishop here. You could push these pawns and take over that diagonal. You could bring this knight up at some point if this bishop moves out.
You could also sack something in this position really easily and not and make it work to your advantage.
Yeah, so there's just so many possibilities here, but of course I take the pawn. The defense that he should play here is just move into the corner. It's not ideal. Nothing is ideal after you castle to the side.
Tell me he didn't move.
I'm sorry. He brought the rook up. I don't know why it's so choppy.
Oh, you're going to bring the bishop up.
Well, yes, and here comes the pin. I bring the bishop up. This rook is pinned to the king.
Right.
And now might be a good time for our pin lesson. A pin is a tactic and where you attack a piece that's in front of a higher value piece. It's white's turn in this position, and if they want, they can move bishop to g6, and that would be pinning the knight to the queen. This knight doesn't want to move out of the way. Black wouldn't want to do this because the queen would just get taken. Now, this would be considered a relative pin. The pawn on g6. This would be in an absolute pin because it's pinned to the king. So remember, a piece pinned to the king is in an absolute pin. So there you have it. You can see that the rook is pinned to the king. It cannot move. This king is feeling really unsafe right now. The rook, it's going to be taken any moment now. This is really bad for white. He brings his bishop out and checks me. The obvious move is just bishop up. I don't know why my animation is so choppy.
Hey, they're not paying for this. They don't like it. They can go watch what's his name over on YouTube. You know,
Levy.
I wasn't going to mention any names, but yeah, fine. Promote other people's show.
So he takes. Put me in check again.
Tell me you didn't take with the king. Do you take with the knight? Oh, you took. Why would you take with the king?
I don't know.
Because castling is overrated?
But
and not only that, but queen comes out on the white side.
Yeah.
Well, no, not now, because your knight's there.
Yeah.
Queen can't come put your king in check because of the knight.
If the queen wanted to come here, then my queen is right here.
Yeah, so that's why.
Yeah.
That's all part of your strategy.
Yeah. So, right. So he moves his queen here. Now, he's protecting the rook.
Yeah.
Now, if I take the rook with the queen, he takes back, bishop takes.
It's still winning for black.
It's still very winning for black, don't get me wrong, but this is one defense not to make it a free rook. You are going into an endgame down a rook, and your other rook is trapped in the corner. Again, he didn't take the time to develop his pieces, and then he got into this mess, and he's going into the endgame with his pieces still undeveloped.
I can't wait to see what happens next. Does queen take rook? Oh my goodness, it doesn't.
So I'm attacking the queen. I'm attacking this bishop, and I'm attacking the queen.
That's pretty cool.
And if the queen doesn't move out of the way, well, we just take it for free because pinned pieces aren't doing the job that they look like they're doing. Right?
I like that.
This rook looks like it's protecting the queen, but it's not. So let's see what happens next.
Oh, he does take.
Oh my goodness.
Very slowly.
Yeah, right. My queen just fades away slowly. So he does take. I'm having issues with the internet or something. Come on.
And then we slowly take the queen down.
All right, so I take the queen. So he pushes. So the reason he pushed this pawn is because he doesn't want my knight coming in here and getting any ideas after this bishop takes and this king takes. Let's see what happens. I take the rook very slowly, of course. And he takes back. Oh my goodness.
It's easier to follow.
Anytime today. Now I am in a seriously winning endgame. And you know why? These pieces.
Yeah, they're all trapped.
They're all trapped. And it's just...
But he's got plenty of pieces that if he actually used them, he could hurt you.
Right. The thing is, he just didn't take that extra time in the opening. Didn't take the time in the opening. He got himself into this pin predicament, and he never found the tempo to get it out.
It's bad chess.
He's down multiple tempos.
Yeah.
Tempos. Nothing is proper Italian here.
One thing chess players don't do is speak proper Italian.
Yes, and if you're anything like me...
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So, I move this rook over. Because... I don't want my rooks sitting in the corner either.
No.
Right? I got rooks that are developed. I might as well use them. Take advantage of it. So he brings his knight out very slowly.
Very tired
Finally, he's developing his knight on move, what is it?
23.
Move 18.
Oh, 18.
18. So normally you're not in an endgame this early.
Well, it's not. Right? It's not so much that he's undeveloped the knight at move 18. That's not a big deal. But a knight, bishop, and rook,
right,
at move 18 is still, it's not ideal.
Yeah. So, guys, just take the time in the opening. Get your pieces out if you can. If you're not dealing with too many attacks, right? Which he wasn't, because I wasn't threatening anything of his. And just get your pieces out before you go castle into the wrong side or something.
Was putting all of his efforts into those pawns.
Right.
Getting real aggressive with the pawns.
That was the same thing too.
You don't need to keep pushing the same pawn.
Right.
Usually.
But that was one thing too that I didn't like about the opening. He spent so much time on the pawns that it was middle game before he knew it, and none of his pieces were.
But there's people who can play that way and still finish successfully. And I'm not convinced that he couldn't have made this position work.
I think there was some missed opportunities that he could have taken advantage of. But if you're between 500 and 1,000, you shouldn't take that much risk and not get your pieces developed, you know?
All right, so you bring your king up? Or what?
Well, let's see.
What's black do?
I push this.
You're pushing that H pawn.
I push the H pawn.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why.
Okay. Then I won't.
Because I forget my plan.
Because I'll tell you what I like doing here.
What?
I like knight to the center of the board and attack that knight as long as it gets covered by something, right? So I would probably...
And I think that coverage is coming.
As wrong as it may be, and I'm pretty sure it would be really wrong to push the king out further into the center of the board.
Don't be so sure.
And use that to take back after the knight attack. But I want to get everything off the board.
Well, I mean, don't be so sure about that being wrong, because in the end games you do want your king active, and if you can get your king to the center,
yeah, but you know what though?
Like,
I think it's a little. I think it's a little soon for that right now for because black has two rooks, because black has pawns along the back that can easily defend the king. I'm just saying that, like, I don't think the king should really have to fight yet.
No.
But I think instead of the center of the board, you know what might be a better idea? This is a better idea, actually.
Okay, what?
Move the king to, say, the C file. Like, so it's forward and diagonal. Okay, it can still take back. Here. Yeah, it can still take back if I
like that.
And then that rook can come over, and you can kind of like
the rook
castle by hand kind of deal.
Yeah, or maybe just get the rook into the center.
Yeah. And then knight comes up and attacks. I mean, that's one idea.
Right.
I don't know.
So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens now that we talked about the possibilities. Well, this king is...
That's unpleasant.
Towards the center.
That pawn's gone.
So this king moves here. So...
See, that king is out in the middle of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it almost kind of... No, that was weird. That was weird because, look, black... King put itself... Why? I don't understand that move from white. I don't understand what's he going for.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just like...
Why does he want that pawn right in his face?
I don't know.
Because he can't move to either side. At this point, you could take his pawn and put him in check. You could take that pawn, puts him in check.
Right.
And then he takes back, of course. But then his two pawns are broken up.
Right.
If you push forward, his pawns are still together.
Right. All right. So let's see what happens. He pushes this pawn. Why?
I don't know.
I'm not really sure. Like, what? He wants to get his rook here?
Look, if he would have pushed the B pawn, he would have been attacking your pawn, and he would have won that pawn.
Right.
I mean, you could have protected it with a pawn.
Yeah, I could have, or brought the rook over. I
think that would have made more sense and it would have cleared passage for his bishop out to the side.
Yeah, he could finally get his bishop developed.
Yeah.
But this
is weird chess.
He's blocking his bishop in again. If he's trying to protect this pawn so he could push it to here, okay, maybe. But right now, it will just get en passanted.
Well, it gives you... Is that a word? It gives you...
I don't know. It's probably very improper French, but...
Yeah, that's another lesson. You should do a lesson.
Maybe we'll do that at some point. If we could get enough people saying that they don't know what en passant is, we'll do a lesson on it. It's my turn, and I take this pawn. Very slowly.
I like that move. I like that.
Very slowly. All right. So this separates his pawns, because of course he's going to take back with the pawn. Sure, my pawns are separated. Separated pawns is much less a big of a deal for me than him right now, because he's losing. So he doesn't want to separate his pawns.
Sure.
I could separate my pawns and I could still win.
I'd like to see, I think would be cool, because I think your rooks are being wasted here.
Okay.
I think if you could get a rook in, say, the F file here. I mean G, I'm sorry.
G?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. And then go straight up. You can pin that bishop when it is finally free to the rook. And then get behind the king. Or you just take that pawn, right? You go up and take the other pawn and put him in check.
Check.
Right.
Yeah.
Fork the
I don't think that I do anything too fancy with my rooks in this position. I think it's just kind of a pawn battle and shifting around and stuff. So he's taking my pawn very slowly. All right. So this rook moves over. It is blocked with the king right now, but like you mentioned, I can easily castle by hand by moving my king back here.
Does he bring a pawn out?
Well, let's see.
His pawns are really weird.
He pushes his a pawn again. What is he trying to do? I mean,
I think what he's trying to do, my guess,
but he can't bring it here because pawn.
My guess is that he wants to lift his rook out to your pawn. Your pawns are stuck.
My pawns are stuck?
Your pawns can't go anywhere.
Well, these two pawns?
Yep.
Okay.
And as long as he doesn't move his king or his knight, those pawns will still be there waiting for him when his rook comes out.
Right.
He only needs to push that pawn one more square. Rook comes down.
Yes.
And I mean, it's easily defended, but now now your rooks are busy protecting pawns, or at least one of them is, because he has to get the first pawn in order to get the second pawn. But I don't know. That's what I'm thinking he might be trying to do.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm lifting a rook. I think I'm trying to double up my rooks here, but I'm not sure.
That's a strange way of doing it.
The purpose.
Why not get rid of that king first, maybe, and
yeah,
your king's still really open.
Yeah, looking back on it, I think a better option would have been to castle by hand, move my king here, and then double up the rooks on this file. I'm just kind of shifting around right now. This is a very closed position for both of us, so there's not really much attacking to do here. I mean, sure, I'm winning, but there's nothing immediate. I mean, I think I am missing an opportunity by moving here and doing what you said, and then coming up here.
Yeah.
And checking the king and forking the king and pawn.
You could bring a rook straight up the center and check the king.
Right.
And prevent any advancement of. I mean, it's not a good idea.
That's why
I'm pretty sure that's wrong in every possible way, but it would be fun.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't like putting the rook in really tight.
No, because look. You come up here.
Yeah.
Let's just show what you're talking about. After this king moves out of the way, I got it castled by hand. Looking at this now, that's by far the best move. Step back with the king a little bit. Get that guy out of here.
Yeah,
he
in front
needs
of
to
a
calm
rook.
down a little bit, This rook could come here.
Yeah.
King can't take pawn. It has to step back.
It does get the king out of there.
And then you take the pawn.
That's true.
And now you have a passed a pawn.
Yeah, maybe that's not bad, yeah.
So that is a good idea. I mean, the king and the pawns are separated at that point, and you're winning. So I think I'm missing a lot of opportunities, and that all starts with just stepping the king back. Why don't I see that move? So let's see what he does.
Why that, I wonder?
I don't know. I mean, this is a really strange move to play, because now this pawn is separated from the king. He just intentionally separated his pawn and his king. Before, it had the king's protection, at least.
It almost seems like he's just out of ideas.
It still couldn't. Yeah, I mean, and the thing I've noticed with these robots, and you have too, because you've commented on it, if you're in a winning position, they play weird back and forth desperate moves, waiting for you to just come in and beat them. So if the robot starts doing weird stuff, you might be winning.
All right, so finally the rooks are doubled up. I'm not sure why, though, because you have a pawn that
I have a pawn in the way.
Yeah, there's a pawn in the way. I don't understand.
I'm not really sure what I'm thinking. And this evaluation bar doesn't exactly like it, and we should do a video on that, too. Just a brief explanation on the way this evaluation bar works is that whatever color there's more of is the color that's winning.
All right, we'll talk about that another time.
This bar is almost all black. That means black is winning. If it was almost all white, then white would be winning. All right. King moves into the center, and it's attacking this pawn. And without me losing tempo and coming back here, it's going to fall off.
And rook has to come back over.
Right.
You do lose tempo. But what's bothering me is that this king is all up in your face, getting all cocky.
Yeah.
Just end this. This needs to end.
So,
rook comes up slow.
Yeah, very slow.
To protect the knight. Because it knows that you want to take that knight.
Yeah.
With what? I don't know.
There's no threat yet, so it's strange. I think that the idea here, now that I see it, the idea here would be to push this pawn. Then pawn takes. Right? Then rook comes over. And now it's got a diagonal. It could come down, take this pawn. Now,
well, it could be defense too.
If that's the idea there, it's a very slow move to get somewhere that you can just get to by taking this pawn with the king and then moving your rook over.
All right, so what happens next?
Let's see. So I'm assuming that I take this pawn. Yeah, it looks like that's where I'm headed. I'm sure he's probably going to come here and take this pawn. Still on move whatever it is, probably in the 30s now. His bishop has just been sleeping for the whole game.
Yeah, but on the plus side, he's going to unlock that bishop at some point, and you don't have one.
I guess, but I got rook compensation, so it's pretty good for me. Let's see what the next move is. So he came here and took. So this is kind of an interesting position. I think that what I should just do is bring this rook here, take the pawn, and then just promote.
Maybe.
So check this out.
Yeah.
I pin the knight to the rook. Now this is a very relative pin because the rook is protected, so this knight can move out of the way. I'm doing that, and I'm also attacking this pawn.
Clever.
Yeah. And now, so it's the same method is coming here.
Yeah.
And then taking. It's just a different way to get to the same position. So I choose that way. And he pushes very slowly.
I think a cool move for black, I think, is pushing that pawn. The one next to the rook.
So this one.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We push.
Yeah.
Pawn takes.
Yep.
And now what?
Well, knight comes up attacking the knight.
Knight comes up attacking the knight here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we trade.
If knight takes, then rook takes back from the bottom.
Rook takes check.
Check.
Okay. That's interesting.
And then at this point, the other rook could probably go back and attack that bishop.
Right. Okay, that's an interesting idea. I don't think I play that, but that is an interesting idea. All right. So this rook comes over and checks the king. I think that's where it's going. Yep. Very slowly. All right. So this king is checked. I'm not really sure what the point is.
Because hey, check.
Yeah, hey, just like check, amateur chess moves. Okay. So if he moves here, okay, maybe there's a slight purpose. Well, he's moving here.
Well, we have time for a short break.
Yeah. We have time for a nap. We have time to go eat lunch. This rook can no longer come here because it's now blocked by the king, so it can't come down, take pawns, and get any ideas of doing that. So that's one advantage that maybe I was thinking
and
by
the knight's
checking the
pinned
king.
Here.
Right, so there's a double pin on the knight, actually.
Yeah.
This is a pretty cool thing that doesn't happen often. The knight is pinned this way to the rook, very relative, and the knight is also pinned up here to the bishop. So this knight...
Yeah, that's
not liking it here. It's not liking it here.
You know what would be cool here, I think?
What?
Is that you can fork the king and the knight with your knight right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
right
and
here.
if knight takes, then rook takes bishop.
Oh, that's sneaky.
Or rook takes, I guess it would have to be rook takes
sneaky.
Rook.
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily, because pawn takes back and advances.
Yeah, because if he takes first, then I just promote, and there's nothing that can stop it. So I actually like taking the bishop first and not the rook.
Yeah.
So I do that.
You do that.
I do that.
You do that.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Oh, wow. I do that. Fancy tactics. So.
How does he respond, I'm wondering?
Right.
I think he's going to take the knight. I think he's going to take the knight.
He's going to take the knight?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Very slowly.
By Tuesday, he should have the knight.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what's wrong with the internet.
So do you take the bishop? Do you see that? Or
I'm
did you...
assuming that I do. I don't think that I would take the rook, but I do take the rook.
Oh, you do take
I'm heading for the
rook.
rook. Why am I doing that? Like, that was an opportunity to get the pawn out of the file that it was in.
I mean, you still get the bishop, but you lose the rook there.
Yeah.
And Yeah, that pawn is it's a bad pawn. Yeah. So now you have to use. Well, the other pawn can push 2 squares.
Yeah, this pawn can push here, and then it can go promote. I mean, if this knight moves out of the way, but it's pretty easy to attack if this king moves out of the way and stuff. So there's options here, but I'm not a fan of taking the rook first. So let's see what he does. So it looks like he's coming to check my king very slowly. Alright, so there you go. He's checking my king right here. It seems like kind of a desperate move. I'm not really sure. He could have just taken the rook, and then, of course, his bishop would fall off. But, alright, maybe he's just delaying the inevitable. Let's see. This king moves up, attacks the knight, make him waste tempo. This pawn takes rook, finally. And then I'm assuming that I take the bishop. Okay, yes, I do. Now, he takes my pawn in the center, but at this point, I can just walk my king over. I can threaten this knight again. Yeah, but you know I can walk it up here.
I hate knights in these end games because a skilled practitioner will take all your pawns.
Oh, yes. Have you played that puzzle on chess.com? It was this really tricky daily puzzle. You had to promote to a knight and then take out
I've seen
3 pawns and then promote to a queen. So it was just a really crazy demonstration of how knights can really be useful in pawn endgames.
Yeah.
All right, so this rook moves over. I'm heading to take this pawn. And now, if this knight doesn't hurry up and get out of here, it will be in an absolute pin to the king.
Yeah.
And you learned about that. Knight comes here and checks.
He's coming to get your pawn.
But
here he comes.
But who cares? I mean, I'm coming to get his pawn.
Yeah.
Put him in check.
Well, nobody cares now because it's 1 pawn.
And then just promote. Yeah.
But soon it's going to be 3.
Well,
and then you're going to care.
So I probably still will.
Let's see what happens.
All right. So I
know you have a rook, but don't ever get cocky.
So he takes. And now there is an opportunity for a skewer here.
Mm-hmm.
Higher value piece in front of a lower value piece. I take the pawn. I don't go for the skewer. And he moves forward. Okay, so
You're just picking off pawns?
No, I'm giving my pawn a little bit of space to advance. And I can come over and take a pawn if I want. And I can also still do the skewer if he doesn't move out of the way.
Do you need a queen? I mean, why not cut the board off with the rook right now and end it? Is it because of the knight? Is it because...
It would be tricky with a knight. And in endgames with knights, you can get seriously easily forked with just one moment of carelessness.
But do you realize, I mean, one thing...
It's definitely easier with a queen.
One thing you could do right now. Mm-hmm. You could check the king with the rook.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. If he did move here to protect his knight, I don't care. I'll trade this knight for a rook any day because
just give up
I'm promoting and he's not going to get there in time, especially with this king right here.
Yeah, exactly.
So he moves back, preventing me from going here. Very smart, Wilson. I will credit him that. And I go to the back rank.
Okay.
So it looks like I'm still trying for something here. Mm-hmm. I think I'm trying to get out of the way of my pawn finally and just let this thing promote. He moves out of the way, just avoiding any skewers at all. I bring the rook over, attacking the knight anyway. The knight moves. And now
I like the knight there.
Now let's see what I do. Okay, I start pushing.
His knight's preventing his pawns from advancing.
Right, exactly. This knight is just blocking these
It's helping
pawns.
You.
Right. So I start pushing because I realize that I'm going to need the help of a queen, probably, if I just want to end this a simple way. He pushes his pawn.
Look at him getting all tricky.
What? He's not going to win this race. There's too many things in the way. But go ahead, Wilson. So I push. Right? He brings his knight back. And now I see an opportunity right away.
Okay. What?
To pin the knight to the king.
Okay.
We see yet another pin in this game. The knight's pinned. It can't really do anything. If he wants to free the knight, he's got to waste tempo and move his king over. I take. I just trade him off because I realize that knight could be a troublemaker. And I'm going to get the thing off of there because it's very simple to end it without it. We just promote and you have a queen. I think I just head straight for the thing.
That was a weird move right there.
Yeah, I guess he wants a space in between his two pawns.
You just advance.
I push. He moves here. Dun, dun.
Yeah.
Queen, right?
Let's zoom through and watch the.
So he
watch how
moves
this
his
ends.
kings up. I'm pushing a pawn. I don't know if I'm gonna. I think I.
You don't remember if you're promoting
no,
again?
I think in this position,
Now you're showing off.
I think I'm
Sure.
contemplating
All right, go
whether or
ahead.
not to
Let's see
show
what
off or
happens.
not. I don't think I end up doing that though. So he moves back, and now I.
You are.
Am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do show off in this game.
We're over 50 moves, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
52, I think, is when it ends. All right, so I show off, right? I bring it over, right? Just zoom it along. Oh, okay. We just came back. I'm just kind of running around for a while here, but that is finally checkmate.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was an interesting
I enjoyed
game. What do you think might be like a key takeaway here?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
A key takeaway.
I mean, one that I can think of already is get castled to the right side.
You know, I think castling is one of those things that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
Like knowing when to do it and what side to do it on.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes don't know.
I've talked to some really strong players who have difficulty with that. You know, you should do a video just about castling.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, if anybody's interested. I mean, I don't know if anybody would be interested in that, you know. So how would we know?
I guess comments.
Comments, yeah. So leave a comment below if you'd be interested in a castling video. We could do it on Chess Tips.
Yeah.
Because we have other shows besides this, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, we've got...
we got Chess Talk, where we talk about nothing but chess.
Yeah.
We have Chess Life, the behind-the-scenes in life of a traveling chess tournament player. Chess Tips. And also me playing you, daddy-daughter chess.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So if everybody is interested, if anybody's interested in any of that content, how will they know when we actually post one?
So if they subscribe and hit the bell notification, that's important because you don't get a notification if you don't hit the bell. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird. But if they hit subscribe and hit the bell icon, they'll get an alert whenever we post one.
There you go. So if you're interested in this or another episode of this, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let us know in the comments. Yeah. Or if you want to see something else that you want us to do, I mean, we'll take ideas, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it. We're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, no, I had a good time. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So... end it.
Thanks for watching.